Hi guys, and welcome to another haul of books that I got for free on Amazon. So again, these were all free. Some of them are available on Kindle Unlimited, and with Kindle Unlimited you do have the option to either borrow the book through Kindle Unlimited or to buy the book. Sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $10, sometimes it's free, sometimes it's 99 cents. So, but they do have an option. So a lot of these were on Kindle Unlimited. I did not write down which ones are available on Kindle Unlimited or what, but these were all free. So free ebooks. I am here for that. So let's go ahead and get started into this. I'll give you the information that I can, so that you will have more information going into if this is something that you might be interested in or not as far as this particular book. So this first one I'm going to talk about is The Shadow Order by J.S. Malcom. This has 173 ratings with an average of 4.18. The only tag listed is paranormal. Now, I don't remember if I said this or not, but these are all fantasy paranormal books. So that's the only thing I know about these. I don't know the synopsis. I have not read those yet. And I'll give you more of, if there are tags on Goodreads, I will let you know what those tags are, in case there's something that you might want to know to either avoid the book or look more into the book. So the only tag on Goodreads is that this is a paranormal. But these are all fantasy paranormal, so nothing out of, any additional information there. So this one is book number 1 in the Crossroads Witch series. And this reads, either I defeat the monster or I become the monster. As if being locked up in the crazy house wasn't bad enough, I wake up to discover that the person I trust most in the world just morphed into a bloodthirsty monster. My only chance for escape comes in the form of 2 women calling out from within a shimmering tunnel. So as either stick around and get murdered or jump through some kind of portal. So portal fantasy is what that sounds like. I take the option that doesn't involve dying and find myself ushered into an ancient society of witches. I'm given a choice. I can either go it alone and take my chances or join their magical training program. The problem being, I didn't even know I had magic. Never mind the kind that can open a doorway between realms. But that's exactly why I'm being hunted by a fae demon looking to settle an old score. Now I either find a way to defeat him or he'll be using my magic to bring the rest of his kind. To bring in the rest of his kind. Certain words matter. If that happens, I won't only mean the end of the world of witches, it'll mean the end of the world. So there you go. So there is that book. Okay, next up I have First to Fall, written by Alexa Whitewolf. This is book number 1 in the Moonlight Rogues series. This has 187 ratings with an average of 4.15. As far as tags, the only additional tags is that this is mystery, shapeshifter, or supernatural. So fantasy paranormal, and then a play on that. This also says paranormal romance, so if you like paranormal romances, maybe. It says, when the games become real, all bets are off in love and war. Now, I can tell you right off, it looks like this will be a dual perspective because we have a description under Dominic and then a description under Lucrezia? I don't know. Anyway. Under Dominic, it says, I've been staring at Luce for who knows how long. Hell, all of last year. But something in her calls to me as surely as the full moon. Unfortunately, she only has eyes for Lucas. So call me a sucker for punishment, but I'm going to help her if she wants to draw the alpha's attention. What better way than dating his second in command, even if it is fake? So fake dating, love triangle, is what that sounds like. Should be easy as pie. Then the weird killings start in town, and the Reapers make my job harder. Looks like I'm gonna need all the Romanian courage I can muster to see this to the end, if I survive it. And then under Lucrezia. I'm going with Luce because that's what it's Senator Dominic's. Something about Luke has changed, and lately it's all I can do to stop panting after him. Considering the past I've run away from, that's saying something. Then Dominic comes with this crazy idea. Pretend to be his girlfriend to make Lucas realize he's got the hots for me. And the plan almost works, until I start falling for the wrong guy. Oh, and somewhere in there, find out I live in a town ruled by werewolves, and some of them want me dead. Why can't life ever be simple? Let's see, it says, Book 1 in a paranormal shifter series filled with werewolves of all kinds. Feisty females who stand up to them, and enough suspense to make it interesting. Can be read as a standalone. So, if you have a different book in this series, you can definitely read it. So it sounds like it takes place all in the same world, and there might be some crossover with certain characters, but, or I don't know for sure about that, but it says they can all be read as standalones, so. Okay, moving on, I have Shattered Worlds, written by Ciara Graves. This is book number 1 in the Darkness Summons series. This one has 37 ratings with a 4-star average. There are no additional tags on Goodreads, so just a fantasy paranormal or a paranormal fantasy, however you want to word that. It says, Cassandra's known she's a mermaid since her tweens, more or less. But how did Cass come to be one? That's a mystery that she's got to solve. The only clue to the puzzle is her mother's name. So she's going to trace her mother's footsteps all the way to Medalshire in England. There, she's hoping to attend the same university and learn something, anything about her mother. To her surprise, day 1 at Hollowell University in Medalshire starts with a mysterious and hot stranger saving her life, with another student recognizing her because, evidently, Cass is a mirror image of her mother. Unfortunately, Medalshire seems to produce more questions than it does answers as she muddles her way through friends, enemies, and frenemies. At least the least of which is a hot guy who makes her feel homicidal. No, really, he does. Except he saved her life. Go figure. Now she's got to deal with the darkness of the ocean and its mysterious summons, which seem to infiltrate her nights. Okay. Alright, moving on, I have Hunting Werewolves and Other Bad Dates. This is book number 1 in the Reapers of the Grim Brotherhood, written by Carpenter with Meg Ann. Okay, because it does say with Meg Ann on the cover that I'm seeing on Goodreads. This one has 2,058 ratings with an average of 3.98. Vampires, demons, urban fantasy, ghosts, werewolves, so we're going to have all types of different creatures in this. This one says, dying is supposed to be the end of the line. Not for me, though. I'm just not that lucky. When my twin brother dies, I return home knowing life will never be the same. I just didn't expect to die in a supernatural car crash on my way there. Plot twist, I'm not actually dead, and I have no idea why. As if things aren't confusing enough, my late brother's bad-tempered and sinfully attractive best friend finds me in the woods in all my recently deceased glory. He claims that half my hometown are actually monsters, that people like he and my brother exist to keep them in line, and, cherry on top of this crap sundae, my brother didn't die in an accident. He was murdered. Now it's up to me and his brooding best friend to find answers before whoever or whatever killed my brother cuts the last branch of my family tree and sends me into the afterlife permanently. Wish someone would have prepared me for hunting werewolves and fending off sex vampires, but apparently that's too much to ask. It does say The Grim Brotherhood, so again, that's the name of the series. It is a completed series with slow burn romance and a sassy heroine that tells it like it is. This series contains material intended for mature teens and adults. Fans of Kelly St. Clair, Lila Stone, K.F. Breen, Annette Marie, and Audrey Gray will love this action-packed, cupcake-filled adventure. So, there you go. I'm wondering if it's where it says mature teens and adults, if it's going to be maybe sexually explicit at times. I don't know. really doesn't give me much information other than that it's for mature teens and adults. So take with that what you will. This next one is Renaissance of Ruin, is what I have it written down on my paper as. It also has the title of Echoes of Asteria. So I'm not sure which is if it's part of a series, which one is the series name and which one is the actual title of the individual book. Not quite sure. But this one only has 2 ratings with an average of 4.5. No additional tags. It says, desperately searching for a cure to save his poisoned wife, Sidonia, / literally in quotes, / journeys across the lands of Asteria to save her from death. Hero of a now fallen kingdom, a shamed man journeys with what remains of his people, and the crown princess turned ultimately queen. Determined to redeem himself, an epic tale of battle, mystery, love, and betrayal unravels across Asteria as multiple paths converge into one. So, not much information there. Okay, next up, the only tag listed on Goodreads is that this is a fantasy, which is obvious as this is a fantasy paranormal haul. This is Lost Legacy. This is book number 1 in the Skull Chronicles, written by D.K. Henderson. This one has 43 ratings with an average of 3.84. The synopsis states, a beautiful young woman is entombed alive as a sacrifice to angry gods. A temple priest embarks upon a desperate fight across a hostile landscape deep in the heart of a lost continent. In the possession of each a sacred crystal skull. England, 2012. After her life falling apart around her, with her life falling, oh my heck, let me try that again. England, 2012. With her life falling apart around her, Gemma Mason's sleep is incredibly disturbed by vivid images of crystal skulls, golden cities, and star travelers. Dreams that tell of courage, danger, and heartbreak, and in which the future of the human race itself is at stake. As these dreams unfold, she realizes she has been chosen to share an ancient knowledge, one that will have repercussions for the whole of humankind. Man, words are hard this morning. Okay. Recently, Gemma accepts her destiny, only to find herself hurled irretrievably into the maelstrom of Earth's forgotten history. Suddenly, everything she has ever believed in is called into question as myth, and legend crystallize into irrefutable fact. With the foundations of her own world crumbling, Gemma must confront her deepest fears, for she is being asked to reveal to the people of Earth the explosive secret of our lost past. It is a secret that will change forever the way we look at ourselves and our place in the universe. But are we ready to hear such a truth? Let's see. It says, in The Lost Legacy, again, that's the name of the book, it says, Gemma shares with us the stories of 2 of these skulls, Gelida and Galathiel. Traveling from the dense humidity of the rainforest to the desert lands of North America. It said N, and I just stopped reading. So I think it's supposed to be North America. From the frozen Arctic wastelands to the cities and mountain ranges of Atlantis, Lost Legacy seamlessly weaves together past and present in a compelling roller coaster ride of emotion and adventure. All right, so that's all the information I have on that one. Next up, I have, now this one, I'm going to have to look at this one a little bit because it does say, and this is my problem with this email that I get. Sometimes on this email that I get where it says these books are free, it'll say this is book 1 in a series, and then when I plug it in, after I've downloaded it from that email, I'll plug it into Goodreads to mark it that I have it on my Kindle, but then it comes up saying it's actually book number 2, it's book number 7, it's book number 3, whatever it is, but it's later on in a series. So I'm not sure exactly where the discrepancy is with that. I just don't know. Okay, so The book that I downloaded is called Beyond the Moon Sea. This was written by Marcela, Carbo, and Goodreads says this is actually book number 2 in the Practice of Power series, so I need to get a hold of book number 1. So when I'm ready to delve into the series, I'll obviously get a hold of book number 1. So I will not read the synopsis on this one. There's no additional tags on this, so all I know is it's a fantasy paranormal. And book number 2 has 9 ratings with an average of 3.78. So I'm going to click on the link for the series, and I'm going to pull up book number 1. And I'm going to make a note so that I'll insert, since I'm going to read you the synopsis for book number 1, I'm going to make a note on my list of these books that I need to insert the image of book number 1 so that you know that that's the one that I am reading. Okay, and I'm actually going to go real quick. Let me go to Amazon, and I'm going to type in the title of book number 1 and see if it's at a good price. Fate's Long Shadow. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get it because it's 99 cents. So it's $1. So I'm going to go ahead and get it. I'm going to go ahead and buy it because that's a good price. So now I'm going to go to Goodreads on my phone, and I'm going to mark that I have that. Fate's Long Shadow. Okay, so this is by the same author, Marcela Carbo. All right, marking this one that I have this on my Kindle TBR. Okay. All right, now we can put that aside. All right, so again, this is book number 1. It's called Fate's Long Shadow, and the name of the series is The Practice of Power. The book number 1 has 27 ratings, where book number 2 only had 9. So 27 ratings with an average of 3.81. Only tag on Goodreads is that this is a fantasy, which of course we know it's a fantasy paranormal. This one, from the cover that I'm seeing on Goodreads, it looks like this is going to be maybe more epic or dark. At least that's what it looks like on the cover that I'm seeing for Fate's Long Shadow. It says, a magical world in decline, a slave raised among brutal giants. One wrong word could seal their fates. I almost said steal. That would be a totally different meaning. All right, moving on. Jessie, I'm guessing is how it's said. It's a different kind of spelling, so I'm guessing on that. Jessie should have died the night the giants raided her village. Instead, she is taken captive and placed at the center of a struggle between giant clans. Fueled by rage and ancient grudges, the giants threaten Jessie at every turn. They fear her and the fate she proclaims. But she is not meant to be a slave forever. She is the heiress of an ancient sorceress bloodline. Okay. She must master her own power before it overwhelms her, or she is crushed by her captors. Her own destiny awaits if she can survive. So, don't really know much. Kidnapped person, life on the line, type of a thing. Okay. Up next, I have The Soul Thief. This was written by Kim Richardson. This is book number 1 in the Horizon Chronicles. So, and that's the other thing with these emails, with this email that I get, is a lot of these are part of a series. The majority of the books are going to be part of a series. There will be some standalones. I don't know if in this particular haul if there's going to be standalones, but I do get some standalones. But most of the standalones are in like the historical fiction, literary fiction type genres. Most of the series happens to be in the fantasy paranormal aspect and other genres. Okay, so The Soul Thief, written by Kim Richardson. Again, the Horizon Chronicles, it's book 1. This has 980 ratings with an average of 3.76. This one does say it's young adult, has angels, demons, is an urban fantasy, supernatural, Spanish literature. So it looks like we'll have some Spanish. I'm hoping it'll have some Spanish terminology. Even better if there's a glossary so that if I don't know the Spanish term or word, that I can look it up. I mean, that's what Google is for. I can definitely Google it if I need to, but I did take Spanish when I was like 5 years old, 5 or 6, for I don't know how long, like at least just the 1 year, maybe I think even less than that, because it was during, we had to meet before school, so a couple months. So I didn't learn very much, but I do know some words. And then I took Spanish for 2 years in junior high. Again, I don't remember, because it's one of those things where, because it hasn't been used, I've lost a lot of the words. So yeah, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to recognize some of them. All right, the synopsis reads, Alexa has a very big problem. She's dead. Worse, instead of meeting her maker, she's pulled into the world of the Guardian Angel Legion, a secret band of angels dedicated to protect mortal souls from demons. But Alexa's life takes a thrilling and terrifying turn when she's sent back to the mortal world to investigate a series of murders and missing souls, and is attacked by a demon. But are demons responsible for the killings, or something else? To make matters even worse, an ancient evil shadow grows over the world, and with it a force more terrible and destructive than the world has ever seen. Can Alexa find a way to stop it, or will it doom the mortal world forever? So, okay. All right. Let's see. This next one I have is called Shield-Maiden. This Shield-Maiden, and then it says Under the Howling Moon. This is, oh, I'm seeing a word here that I like. It says The Road to Valhalla. Now, I actually looked this up. So Valhalla is a Viking, I think it's a Viking term. So I'm going to look this up, and I'm going to tell you about Valhalla really quickly. Let's see. Valhalla. In Norse mythology, Valhalla is the 1800 anglicized name for Old Norse Valhall, however you say it, which is Hall of the Slain. It is described as a majestic hall located in Asgard and presided over by the god Odin. Half of those who die in combat enter Valhalla, while the other half are chosen by the goddess Freyja to reside in Folkvangr. The masses of those killed in combat, along with various legendary Germanic heroes and kings, live in Valhalla until Ragnarok, when they will march out of its many doors to fight in aid of Odin against the Jotnar, or however you say it. So it's kind of like it sounds like it is a North mythological kind of purgatory type thing is what it sounds like. The only reason I have heard of this word is because, and let me make a note. Valhalla, Peyton Parish. I found when I read, what was it, last year, The Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne, I stumbled across Peyton Parish, and it was tagged as like a Viking song, and the tone of the song and the words totally fit the theme of the Faithful and the Fallen series. So whenever I see something that has to do with Valhalla, in this case with this book, I'm going to think this is going to be like a Norse mythological and Viking inspired book. I don't know how prevalent the Viking aspect will be, but I am really interested in the Viking stuff. So Shield-Maiden, Under the Howling Moon, written by Melanie Karsak. The Road to Valhalla, book number 1. So this one has 1,853 ratings with an average of 4.41. It also has that this is listed as historical fiction, mythology, which I just read with the description. And let's see, romance, historical fantasy, young adult, but it also has the tag of adult, so not sure what's going to happen there. Let's see. Okay. Chosen by Odin, destined for Valhalla. In my dreams, Odin whispers to me. He tells me I'm destined to wield a legendary sword. He tells me my road will bring me to Valhalla. But when I wake, I'm only Hervor. Fatherless, unloved, unwanted. Jarl, this is the thing with some of these names I struggle with. I'm just going to say Jarl because I have no idea how to say the surname or the last name here. Jarl, my grandfather, calls me cursed. My mother, her memories stolen by the gods, has forgotten me. Everyone tells me I should have been left to the wolves, but no one will tell me why. None but Idis, a thrall with vulva magic. And I know I said that wrong because the O has little accent dots above it, so I don't know how to say it. Let's see. So, Idis believes I'm meant for a greater destiny, yet no one can believe a devotee of. Yet who can believe a devotee of Loki? When the king and his son arrive for the holy blot, again has an accent, don't know how to say it. Okay, let's see. The runes begin to fall in my favor. A way forward may lie in handsome Viking. Haha, I was right, a Viking. Handsome Viking set on winning my heart, but only if I unravel the mystery hanging over me first. It says that readers will relish this book. This sweeping Viking historical fantasy retells the Norse Hervarar saga, depicting the life of the Shield-Maiden Hervor. Now, I know I've said a lot of those names wrong, so yeah. I'm hoping to get an audiobook. I would love to get an audiobook so I can hear how to pronounce those names correctly. All right, up next I have The Other Side of the Veil. It does say this is book 1, and it looks like on the cover it says that I'm thinking the name of the series is called Death Cheaters. Not quite sure on that. This was written by Katt Seren. This has 13 ratings with an average of 3.92. And there are no additional tags on Goodreads. It does say the Kindle edition is only 56 pages. So short story or novella, whatever word you want to use. All right, so the synopsis reads, what do you do when you find out your entire life is a lie? A strange feeling overtakes Allie Bowen. Her arms shiver. Her hair stands on end. An overwhelming sense of terror seizes her body. It's like nothing she has ever experienced before. Suddenly, she witnesses the murder of a handsome stranger sitting across from her in the library. Or did she? Realizing this was a premonition of his death, Allie races to warn him. He feels familiar, but why? With demons and the conspirators, I'm guessing, working against her, Allie must race to uncover the truth about who she really is before it's too late. So, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We have Shattered Souls, written by Lola Saintville. This one is book number 1 in the Tauren series, and this has 784 ratings with an average of 4.24. Okay, now, oh, I thought this was like you had to read this after a certain series. No, it says the Tauren is a must-read for fans of A Shade of Vampires, Twilight, and the Mortal Instruments. So I read that way wrong. Supernatural, fantasy, paranormal romance, and young adult is the other tag. So 784 ratings, the 4.24 average. I'm sure I said that, but if I did, there it was again. Okay. It says, Summit Case has no idea why her parents gave her up, or why her eyes are purple and change with her mood. The only thing she knows is that she is destined to be on the outside looking in. That is, until the most powerful guy in school asks her out on a date. However, instead of taking her to a movie, he parks the car in a remote section of Lower Manhattan and, after a few cryptic proclamations, stabs her in the neck. Oh, that's a crappy first date. Okay. Let's move on. It says, Lucas Ford, a breathtaking angel with remarkable powers, swoops down and saves her. That's when she learns that she's the descendant of a long line of formidable angels called Noru, and that demons are seeking her out to strip her of her emerging powers. In addition, by saving her, Lucas awakens a new evil bent on destroying all of humanity. Her team must go on a dangerous quest to find a powerful relic that can contain the new evil. In the midst of the harrowing and bloody mission, she looks for solace in the arms of the angel she loved at first sight, Lucas. But for some reason, Lucas is cold and distant. Did she misread his feelings for her? What do you do when the angel who risked his life to save you now wants nothing to do with you? Summit comes from great and powerful line of female angels, but while she has their purple eyes, does she have their courage? And now that she finally has a family, will she be strong enough to hold on to them, or is she destined to lose both her family and the guy she loves? Okay. Now, I have not read A Shade of Vampire or The Mortal Instruments. I have read Twilight. That synopsis to me does not give me Twilight vibes, other than it's, even then I don't know, because I don't know if they're vampires. It's angels and demons. So, not quite sure the Twilight connection, but I guess I'll find out when I read it if that is an accurate connection or not. I don't know. Okay, moving on, I have Unreal Alchemy, written by Tansy, Rayner, Roberts. And I can tell that this one is going to have a underlying music theme, because behind the character on the cover that I see, it's either a cello or a bass, one of those, you know, big stand-up string instruments. So it's one of the two. Definitely not a violin, unless the violin is massively enlarged, but I seriously doubt that. I don't know. And if that's the case, they should have done a different cover, in my opinion, but we'll see. Let's see. This is book number 1 in the Belladonna U series. 48 ratings with an average of 4.25. Short stories, paranormal, young adult, new adult, school, romance. And, okay. It says, this is a lighthearted urban fantasy collection of short stories about a group of friends at a university for the magical and unmagical. Hebe wants her sister's band to stop writing songs about her life. Sage wants to kiss boys and make music. Jules wants Sage. Holly wants to be famous. Juniper wants Holly to notice her. Fred wants his magic back. Viola wants her best friend to stop ditching her for some geeky rock band. Welcome to Belladonna U, where Australian student witches study the real and unreal on a Friday night. They drink hard and play hard down at the local pub. I'm guessing the word "at" is missing. Roll the dice, fight the troll, let's make magic. This book collects 4 previously published stories and novellas. Okay, so the 4 stories are Fake Geek Girl, Unmagical Boy Story, The Bromancers, and The Alchemy of Fine. So a collection of short stories. Book 1 in a collection of short stories. Okay. All right, now this one I did notice because I was curious. There's actually a book before this one, but this is more like a little prequel or a novella before the actual book 1. So this particular one is called To Wield a Plague, written by Derrick. Now it's either Smythe or Smith, because instead of an I, it's a Y, and it has an E at the end, so Smythe. And this particular book is book number 0.2 in Passage to Dawn. It has 61 ratings with an average of 4.39. Now, I am going to click on this. I did look, and there is a book 0.1, so there is a book before that one. I did go ahead and purchase it, just like I did another book in this series. I looked on Amazon, and it was only 99 cents, so I'm like, meh, go ahead. So I got it. Now this one, book 0.1 in the Passage of Dawn series, is called To Earn the Sash. And this one has 58 ratings with an average of 3.91. And this one is only 47 pages. It says, decades before Grobanar earned his place as high priest, he was just your above average seeker in training, sort of. Each year, the best seekers of the Academy are pitted against one another in a brutal race to capture dark wielders within the city of Ciara. The winner earns the glory, the sash, and the assurance that he or she will rise high within the Cleroll. Grobanar, I'm guessing, has rallied others to his cause, but his nemesis, Rajuban, seeks the very same prize and is not without schemes of his own. What will victory cost? What secrets might be revealed along the way? This short story is a prequel to The Other Magic, which is the first novel in the Passage to Dawn series. So this is like the first prequel of the prequels. So you have the To Earn the Sash and To Wield a Plague are the two prequels before book number 1 in the series. So, okay. Let's go ahead and just move on. I have A Shifter's Curse, written by Raven Steele and Ava Mason. And this is book number 1 in the Rowan Chronicles, or Rowan Chronicles. Not quite sure how to say that one. 1,577 ratings with an average of 4.14. Shapeshifters, paranormal, vampires, supernatural, witches, werewolves, urban fantasy. So those are the additional tags in case you are interested in that. All right, the synopsis says, Karma takes too long. I'd rather beat the shit out of you right now. Okay, I like that. With a dagger in her boot and blades in her bra, Briar, a powerful shifter, arrives in Rowan with one goal: find and kill Dominic, the man responsible for the destruction of her entire family and wolf pack. When she discovers he is an alpha surrounded by muscle-ripped shifters and equally as strong witches, she knows the only way she'll get close enough to kill him is if she joins the dangerous and shady pack. But infiltrating them proves more challenging than she expects, especially when her now roommates turn out to be supernaturals with their own powers and secrets. She can't tell if the centuries-old nosy vampire and fashion-sensitive witch are working with her or against her. Whether they are friends or enemies doesn't change things. Briar has a job to do, and she is willing to do whatever it takes to quench her thirst for revenge, but if it means destroying her own soul. Let's see. Introduces readers to dark and exciting world of shifters, vampires, witches. If you like Charlene Harris, Patricia Briggs, Shane Silvers, or K.F. Breen, you will love this new series. Let's see. Intended for adult readers due to violence and language, but it is funny as hell. Oh, and it is not an RH. What is an RH? All right, let me pull up Google. What does RH stand for? Mean in books. Oh, it is not a reverse harem. Okay, that's good to know. So RH is reverse harem. All right, and this is not a reverse harem. Okay. Let's see. Moving on, I have Unquiet. This is book number 1 in the Unquiet series. So book 1 is titled the same as the series. This was written by Kay Camden. This has 16 ratings with an average of 4.13 and no additional tags to tell you about on this one. So it says, Unquiet spirits, a gathering underground war, and a love that complicates everything. In Mick's quiet Missouri town, strangers stand out, especially mysterious women who vandalize cars in front of the local grocery store. It's strange, but none of Mick's business, until he notices the woman's busted lip. The right thing to do is offer her a ride and a place to hide out, which is how he ends up with her knife against his throat in his own apartment. Okay, now I have no idea how to say this name. I want to say Wapakona. Probably way wrong on that. But she has nearly reached her quota of bodies. It says her, so I know it's a she. So, okay, she has really nearly reached her quota of bodies to raise her sister from the dead. So, potential necromancy. When it's this easy to take her next valuable soul, she can't say no. But she stalls killing Mick, sensing another regret she'll have to carry in her already dark world. Old bones are stirring underground. changing Mick. And then it says, Wapikona has crossed the circle of time, made a pact with a powerful underworld demon, and angered the Thunderbirds. Mick can't escape his new calling. Stop Wapikona and the Unquiet. She's dragged into his town. So I'm sure I've said that name wrong. Would love to get a copy of the audiobook so I know how to say that, but not sure. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next book, which is called The Wingless Angel. It looks like this is a standalone from what I can see right off. The additional tag on Goodreads says that this is also a horror. So if you don't like horror, then you'll probably know to avoid this one. But if you like horror like I do, I'm definitely a little bit more intrigued. So it says Fire. Oh, and this was written by Fabrice Wilfong, has 66 ratings with an average of 4.2. Now, the synopsis. It says, Fire and brimstone, pitchforks and horns, eternal damnation. Oh, saying that wrong. This is the story you've been told about hell. It is false. Hell is far worse. Covered in human skin, coursing with rivers of blood, bodies falling down from the sky day and night, it will take much more than faith if you are to survive. The epic battle between angels and demons has raged for centuries, but it's about to encounter a twist. The arrival of Army Medic Silton. And before it's over, the balance between heaven and hell will be shifted by a wingless angel. A little bit of a tongue twister there, evidently. Okay, next up I have The Darkest Revenge, written by D.K. Holmberg. This is book number 1 in the Elder Stones saga. 628 ratings with an average of 4.12. The only additional tag on Goodreads is that this is a young adult. This one says, some are born to power, others must find it within themselves. Decades ago, a powerful enemy called the Forgers attacked their homeland, nearly destroying everything. Few remember the time before the attack, but the Forgers have not forgotten. They have spent decades preparing, gaining power, and now their plan has nearly reached fruition. On the outskirts of the city, living within the stronghold of ancient power, Heron, longs for a life beyond what he knows, and away from the long shadow cast by his father. When an attack on the city renews the decades-old battle, Heron volunteers to leave the city and find the person that can lead their people to victory. His inexperience might kill him, but his instincts might be the reason they succeed. For Daniel, a member of the ruling family, life in the palace is easy and his path is clear. Eventually, he will rise up to sit on the council and lead the people of the city. An injury to someone he cares for changes everything for him, and he must go to the one person he despises most for help. If he fails, he'll learn what it means to lose everything he cares about. When their fates intertwine, they must put aside past differences. Stopping the Forgers will require strength and power that both must find within them, or more than their people will suffer. Okay. All right, now this next one, from the title, I can tell that this is going to be a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs retelling, because the title is Snow Wicked White. This was written by Allie Burton. This is, got another one. I don't know if this can be read as a standalone, but it says this is a glass slipper adventure, and this is book number 4. Didn't know that. It does say this is young adult. This particular book has 26 ratings with an average of 4.12. So let me click on the name of the series again, a glass slipper adventure. Okay, so I do own book number 1. So, okay. I am not going to read the synopsis of Snow Wicked White. Well, actually, I think I can. Okay, so book number 1 is called Cinderella Assassin. And then book number 2 is Cinderella Soldier, which I do not own. And same thing with number 3, but number 3 is called Cinderella Spy. So the first 3 books are a Cinderella retelling. And then the next 3 books, it's 6 books in the series, are all about Snow White. So I'm thinking because it's Snow White and not Cinderella, it can be read separate. So I will go ahead and read the synopsis. Let me scroll down. So I will just have to remember to read Cinderella before that one. So I'll go ahead and read the synopsis for Snow Wicked White. It says, she chooses to stay out of the fight, but when she's forced to help the enemy, her betrayal wakes a sleeping giant. Destiny Snow is the last known banshee in the kingdom, or she fears she is because her grandfather has disappeared. Humans and magics alike discriminate against her because of the banshee wail of death. That's why she and her grandfather have always lived as hermits and never joined the magic resistance movement, until royal guards knocked on her door. Under the regent's orders, Destiny is held in an overcrowded cell with 7 other criminals while he forces her to track magics to steal their power. Except she's never been trained and has no magic. When she makes a major mistake, several important resistance leaders are captured, including her childhood crush, Stone. Can the bad news banshee convince her cellmates that she can be trusted and help them escape the dungeon before they're all tortured to death? This one, I think I said this, but it's 26 ratings with an average of 4.12. But if I didn't, there it is. If I did, there it is again. So, all right. Let's go ahead and move on. This next one is called Between, and this is book number 1 in the Between series. This was written by Carrie Schaefer, 426 ratings with an average of 3.24. Urban fantasy, dragons. Romance, adult, magic, paranormal romance, supernatural. Okay. The synopsis says, Vivian, I'm excited about the dragons. Okay, moving on. The synopsis, Vivian Mailer can't sleep. Maybe it's because she just broke up with her boyfriend and moved to a new town. Or it could be the stress of her new job at the hospital. But perhaps it's because her dreams have started to bleed through into her waking hours. All of her life, Vivian has rejected her mother's insane ramblings about dream worlds for concrete science and fact, until an emergency room patient ranting about dragons spontaneously combusts before her eyes, forcing Viv to consider the idea that her visions of mythical beasts might be real. And when a chance encounter leads her to a man she knows only from her dreams, Vivian finds herself falling into a world that seems strange and familiar all at once. A world where the line between dream and reality is hard to determine and hard to control. Okay, that one actually sounds pretty good. I am looking forward to that one, especially knowing that dragons is the tag, so a little bit more intrigued with that. Okay, next up I have Karas, A Gathering of Souls. This is book number 1 in the Karas Chronicles, written by Becca Lewis. This one has 10 ratings with an average of 4.5. As far as tags, it just says fantasy. So nothing more there that I can tell you. It says, is remote viewing dangerous? Mira Michaels has been on her own for a lifetime. But when the orphan practices her ability to extend her consciousness in search of a deeper connection, she gets much more than she bargained for. Mira desperately seeks help when something sinister begins tracking her every move. After contacting old friends to help her learn what she's unleashed, Myra, something like that, she finds a home and family she thought she had lost, but realizing that she has power far beyond her imagination may not be enough to keep them all of them safe. Can she hold on to her new family, or will the forces that don't want them to discover their powers stop them before they can even begin? Let's see. It's a series of standalone stories about hidden mysteries, magical abilities, other dimensions, and the power of love. So you might, where it's a series of standalone stories, it sounds like you'll be able to read them all separately if you want. It says if you like thought-provoking fiction, spiritual awakenings, and otherworldly possibilities, then you'll love Becca Lewis's mind-bending opening to the other worlds and dimensions. Okay. Next up, I have Reawakened Flames, written by Lindsay McCafferty. This has 7 ratings with a 4-star average. It says, Arya, the crown princess of Toranon, has the world at her feet and a bright future. Then she develops anxiety and depression and finds herself trapped in a losing battle that seems only have one tragic path of escape. Landa, a phoenix, has an embarrassing accident and her confidence diminishes. She then loses the one ability she wields as a phoenix, her fire. With an invasion against Tornin looming, Arya and Landa must save the kingdom from utter ruin. But first, they will have to rise above their inner struggles in order to survive an encounter with a far more sinister evil. And that's all that says. Not much to go off of, but, you know, sometimes that's a good thing. There's more surprises for you in store in the book, so. All right, moving on, I have The Pale-Eyed Mage. This was written by Jennifer Ely, and this is book number 1 in the Dark Amulet series. This one has 79 ratings with an average of 4.43 and no additional Goodreads tags. It says, Sheldrake is a mage. Maud is a shapeshifter. When their son is born, she is completely pale with nearly white eyes, the legacy of a fearsome great-grandmother. Jayan grows into a cheery, accident-prone 8-year-old, unhappily aware of his heritage. When their son is born. Okay. I'm like misfiring here. Something. I did something weird. Or I thought something weird. Anyway, okay. Unaware of his heritage. Soon, a dark-eyed orphan enters his life, rescued from a brutal master to become their stable boy. Sasha's past and present are shrouded in secrets. The only legacy Sasha has of the past is an obsidian amulet. As secrets of the young stable boy's past slowly come to light, they are all thrown into a world of danger. With ancient prophecies coming to bear and deadly enemies at all sides, can they uncover the secrets of the dark amulet and survive? My brain just started misfiring on that synopsis, so I'm not sure exactly what I read, but I'll have the book listed in the description box. So if you want to look more into it, you are more than welcome to. Okay. Next one is called Incendiary Magic, written by Amy Easterling. This is part of further on in the series. This is book number 2.5 in the Dragon Mage Chronicles. 256 ratings with an average of 3.74. It does say there's dragons, and so let me click on the series, and I do not own the first one. So let me look into that and write that one down. All right, so I obviously will not read the synopsis of book number 2.5 so I don't spoil anything. Let's go and see how much this first one is. VRD Verdant Magic by Amy Easterling. Okay, book number 1 was Verdant Magic, and this one has 344 ratings with an average of 3.93. So Goodreads says Verdant Magic is book number 1. Amazon says it's actually book number 2. That book number 1 is what I had, which is Incendiary Magic. So I'm gonna go with Amazon, I guess. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about what Goodreads says is book number 1. Scribble that out. Let's see. It's 256 ratings with an average of 3.74 for Incendiary Magic again. Goodreads says it's book number 2.5. Amazon says it's book number 1. It does say that this is a standalone set within the Dragon Mage world. So that's probably where that discrepancy comes from. The synopsis says, a dragon's treasure turns traitor when secrets ignite. Faye is a fire mage on an impossible mission. After cutting her teeth on tales of dragons' dastardliness, she willingly straps explosives to her belly and sets off to infiltrate the home base of the shifters who rule over all mankind. Mason is the Lord Dragon tasked with protecting ordinary humans from harm. As part of his duties, he squashes a forest fire, then stumbles across a comatose woman who triggers his urge to collect and preserve rare beauty. The world Fae wakes into it. The word Fee. Oh, it's Fee, not Fae. The world Fee wakes into is very different from the medieval society she'd imagined would exist within a dragon's lair. But can she protect these well-fed, happy people when her overbearing father is in charge of her bomb's detonator switch? So I am confused a little bit. Well, quite a bit, but I'm still confused. So I did look, so again, according to Goodreads, this is actually book number 2.5. I did look on Amazon to see what the ebook version of Goodreads number 1, Verdant Magic or something, and it's $5 on Amazon. So, I mean, I'm in no rush to get it right now. Eventually I will, and then I will just have to decide if I'm going to read Incendiary Magic first or Verdant or whatever it was, Magic. Verdant Magic first. So I don't know which one I'm going to read first. I guess I'll decide when the time arises, but for now, I'm not quite sure. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next book, which is called Infernal Justice. This is book number 1 in the Ethan Drake series, written by N.P. Martin. This has 459 ratings with an average of 3.92. And it does say this is an urban fantasy, which of course we also know it's a fantasy paranormal, or a paranormal fantasy, however the heck you want to word that. It says, in a lightless world, only darkness can drive out darkness. My name is Ethan Drake, and I'm a police detective, and I got plenty darkness to give. So does my partner, who's a demon, and frankly, a royal pain in my ass. But occult investigators are in short supply in the PD. So what are you going to do? Anyway, we just caught a body-snatching case that has the stench of occult workings all over it. Seems someone wants to summon something bad into this world, something that threatens the very fate of humanity. I could care less about the fate of humanity myself, but hey, when it's your job, you gotta do something, right? Only my job has been made harder by a demon who's decided it wants me as a vessel, and will stop at nothing until it gets what it wants. Internal affairs are also gunning for my badge over the murder of some guy who deserved it, and on top of that, I'm trying to solve the murders of my ex-wife and daughter. Oh, and don't even get me started on the snarkiest helicorn in the known universe. What the heck is a helicorn? Let's see, moving on, it says, you know that thing threatening all of humanity? I might just let it succeed. It says Harry Bosch meets John Constantine in this gripping urban fantasy noir thriller. So if you like noir stuff, then you may like this one. All right, up next I have Rising, written by C.B. Samet. This is book number 1 in the Avant Champion series. 127 ratings with an average of 3.87. And no additional tags on Goodreads to tell you about. The synopsis reads, all things considered, it was a good day to die. When Marrington Castle is overtaken by a dark and ancient evil, Abigail Cross finds herself in the precarious situation of protecting Queen Rachel IV. Her journey to safety quickly transforms into a quest to save Queen and country. Charged with finding the artifacts to raise the champion to defeat the world's most powerful enemy, Abigail finds herself traversing the perilous continent from the roaring waterfalls of Athos to the scorching heat of the Optato Desert to the freezing fog of Mount Carn. Will Abigail succeed in uniting the kingdom and summoning the Avant champion to save them all? Okay, so she's going on a journey, it sounds like. Alrighty. Next up, I have The Great Hearts, written by David Oliver. This is book number 1 in the Great Hearts series. 350 ratings with an average of 4.04. So even though the email that I got said this is a fantasy paranormal, it's also tagged as a science fiction as well, so a hybrid genre, but it also says it's a dark fantasy, so please be aware of that. So if you like your fantasies light and fluffy, this isn't going to be the book for you. Kaladin Darkheart is an imposter, the voice of the Emperor in the wild, a secretive and dangerous job, hunting down those deemed a threat to the Emperor's rule, whether monster or man. Twisted and bitter, he heads down a dark path to hunt a nightmare from his youth. This is his story. And that's all it says, because then it just goes into how this is the first installment in a new series, and this is a debut novel featuring mythical beasts, epic sword duels, dark rituals, and friendship for the ages. So, it does say that this is following in the steps of authors such as Mark Lawrence, Joe Abercrombie, and Brian McClellan. Gritty, vivid action with soft, warm purr of gigantic panther. Alrighty. Alright, up next I have J.S. I'm guessing is how it's said. Could be wrong, but this was written by K.S. Veloso, and this is book number 1 in the Agartes epilogues. Not sure how to say that correctly. Dragons, high fantasy, epic fantasy, also has the tag of science fiction, fantasy, and adult. Okay, so there's the additional tags for you. This one says, let's see, the true story, as always, is in the details. After a botched job leaves his friend dead, the mercenary Kiefer is chased down by former associates for the crime. Already once branded a murderer, fate seems to continue to frown on him when he comes face to face with his friend's sister, Sumi, a young woman reeling from her own string of bad luck, and the last person he would ever want to confess to. Their lives, unknowingly tangled before they even met, are now thrown into upheaval as one flees from the past and the other runs to it. In the meantime, the young, arrogant merchant Yalir takes a special interest in Kiefer while he battles with a powerful mage, one whose name has been long forgotten in legend. At the crux of their conflict is a terrible creature with one eye, cast from the womb of a forlorn woman. With powers so immense, whoever possesses it holds the key to bring the continent to its knees. This is a tale of revenge and lost kingdoms, but also of grief, love, hope, and a promise for tomorrow. Okay. All right, and this last one I have to tell you about is called Journey to the Abyss. It looks like it's a standalone. This was written by Jack E. Moore. 16 ratings with an average of 4.38. No additional tags on Goodreads to tell you about. When love transcends death, no realm is unreachable. Armed with magic he continually hones, and Antio Chicatis is on a quest no mortal has ever... Is on a quest no mortal has ever he hopes to resurrect a soul that was consumed by the abyss. It's like they merged 2 sentences into one and left off a couple of words. So I have no idea what that was supposed to mean. But let's go ahead and move on. If you know what that was supposed to mean, good on you. I have no idea. Okay. Let's see. On his journey, he crosses paths with a gigantic bipedal ram named Selma, it looks like. At first, their encounter seems trivial, but unbeknownst to them, destiny is pulling strings behind cosmic curtains. The bargain is simple. Kill the devilish king that exiled Selma, and she will help him get to the afterlife. The only problem is that the Mire Ram King is the most powerful beast that walks the earth, and using magic is not an option. What started as a grieving boy on a mission to restore his mother's soul quickly becomes a perilous adventure that grows more impossible with each obstacle. A life for a life is a cruel bargain, and he may not live to see it through. I mean, so the synopsis sounds fine other than that one stupid sentence, because I don't know what that was supposed to mean. So that's it for this fantasy paranormal ebook haul. Let me know, have you read from any of these authors, or have you read any of these books? Do you have any fantasy paranormal books that you would like to suggest that I look into? Just talk to me in the comments section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.